What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is November the 29th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data, not really much to talk on. Markets closed early today at 1 o'clock, so kind of just be aware of that. Historically, you have a very, very low volume, but with historically speaking as well as shorts just not really doing all that much, institutions not really doing all that much, sometimes you could get some pretty big swings. Right now you see the fear and greed index under the greed category, and then at the same time futures are looking fairly good. So Nasdaq up 0.25, S&P up 0.29, and Dow is up 0.27. So all in all, turning out to be a fairly good day so far. We'll just wait and see how that all does develop. But starting off, Sofi is up, so kind of pointing to another new 52-week high, up 1.43%. No actual news, no SEC filings. So as I mentioned in my last video, imagine if they were to put out some substantial news and how that would really drive up the price. So it seems to be on a warpath for 18. That's at least based on the options, what it's signaling is coming next. So we'll just have to monitor that. But 13.5% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 143.76 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts have been kind of the losers in this run that they've SoFi's been on. So shorts have been returning quite a lot, but still that's just the tip of the iceberg on how many are still in there. Works out to be $2.32 billion. So kind of crazy stuff. Right now though, with it at 1634 pre-market, it is trading between these 2 points. It's R3 and this R2. So 1629 will be a strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold today. Flip side, 1708 will be the next strong target. So it would be kind of epic if it can actually touch that today, but I think the market, especially with lower volume, might be somewhat where it is now. That's just how I see things. It might have a run to roughly like maybe that psychological 1650 possibly, but aside from that, I think SoFi's still been on a absolute run. I've been selling a lot of puts, so $14.50 and $15 with SoFi just in case there is a pullback, but looks like a lot of that is going to expire worthless, so that does mean I get to keep the premiums. Always research options, do what you need to do. Nvidia is getting a abnormal amount of volume, largely because probably the unjustified sell-off that did happen on Wednesday. So if you're like myself that bought the dip with Nvidia, I think there's a lot more upside. So a new 52-week high should be coming. Won't be coming today, but most likely with jobs data and everything next week. At the same time, you might have some analysts start to talk on jobs data, but still with the market closed half a day at 1 o'clock, it's probably not much coming from analysts. But right now shorts are returning around 14,000 shares pre-market with Nvidia, so that's always generally a good sign. This isn't heavily shorted whatsoever though, so only 1.17% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 275.86 million shares overall are being shorted. With it at 136 and change, it is trading between these 2 points, so this R1 and the pivot. So 130 is a strong support. Flip side, 141 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. In my opinion, I think this R1 could potentially be touched today, only given how much Nvidia is actually pulled back. So I think, oddly enough, given everything, Nvidia might be a value play somewhat of sorts, especially looking at the PE ratio, kind of showing it's a good deal. So something just to keep in mind. Moving over to RGTI, so this one has been interesting. So it did go up 9.09% on Wednesday. It's continuing that run. No actual news, no SEC filings to really kind of justify today, aside from this. So people's appetite for risk is on the table, so that is why they want to gravitate towards RGTI. Last thing that I did bring up associated to this company was the fact that they did announce a 100 million registered direct offering at a price of $2. I hate seeing when a stock finally gets attention and then the company management just decides to kind of dilute absolute worst. But like I said, with people's appetite for risk on the table right now, people don't really care all that much. So you never know how high it could potentially go. At the same time, it is somewhat heavily shorted. So 16.8% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 28.39 million shares overall are being shorted as well on the threshold list. It's been on the threshold list, looks like since roughly around here, November 18th. And so in theory, whenever a stock is on the list for 13 consecutive trading days, the SEC should be interjecting, going after the market makers. That won't be coming this week, that'll be next week, so you could see a bump up associated to that. But 281,000 shares are being returned so far this morning from shorts, so that's one of the big factors as well why it is moving higher. Some points to watch for though, with it at 257, it is trading right above this R1, so just watch for that 255 support to hold. Flip side, 268 is going to be that next strong kind of target slash resistance point, and given the momentum, it could easily be touched. And as well, that 291 as well could be touched. Just all depends on people's appetite for risk, and especially with lower volume, you never know, could make some pretty big swings. And then Bitcoin is recovering, showing a lot of good strength. A lot of whales have been getting in recently, and so obviously ticker MSTR, so MicroStrategy is recovering, so lucky to those individuals that did actually buy. What I did do is I sold a put similarly just to try to collect some premiums. Surprisingly, it was rather high. I would have anticipated, or like I was pleasantly surprised, I guess. I did sell a $280 strike for today, so that's going to expire worthless. Pretty easy money, easy couple hundred. So yeah, honestly, it's this stock is very, very volatile, but shorts have been losing quite a lot. So 12.34% of the free float is being shorted. You can see it went from roughly around 15% short interest in October to where it is now. 24.19 million shares overall are being shorted. If you're wanting to trade this though, with it at 407, it's trading between this pivot and this S1, so 356 is going to be the strong support. Just watch for that to hold, and then 434 is going to be the next strong target slash resistance. Honestly, this stock is extremely volatile. It could, anything could be touched. You never know. So yeah, just watch for this 434. Given the strength that Bitcoin's making, I think it is fair to assume it might gravitate towards this pivot point, but my crystal ball is sometimes wrong. And then speaking of crypto, and so you have Mara, it is gaining some good strength, up 1.82%. Nothing really happening with shorts this morning so far, but 20.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 65.21 million shares. So similar nature, shorts been losing quite a lot with this company. With it at 27 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 29.04 is going to be that next strong target. Then 26.92 is going to be the next strong support. So all in all, this is kind of what big money or what abnormal volume is happening this morning. So let me know your thoughts. Do you own any of these stocks? Are you going to be trading, or is there any other stocks that is floating your boat? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing I wanted to share with you though, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Pop over there, take a look. Highly recommend that. As well, I do have a section, so if you're looking to learn about options, I have every single strategy there, whether it be beginner, intermediate. I'll be posting like a little bit more advanced stuff shortly, but yeah, definitely pop over there. With all that said though, appreciate all of you watching.